one, not a legal one. Not that it was a anticipated significant intelligence activity, which is the legal requirement, but the fact was that this was maybe of a bit of a different flavor than the kinds of things we had briefed the Hill on in the past. And so I would have gone down there probably first off out of, well, this is different, let's make sure the committees know about it, rather than some abstract, clearly defined legal threshold. I will tell you that when I was director, right, and the press coverage of this has talked about one continuous program, I would suggest to you that's probably not true. What you had were 3 separate efforts under 3 different directors to deal with an issue that everyone understood was a problem in a capacity that everyone agreed we should have. When I was there, if Congress was uneasy that I didn't come down and talk to them enough about what was happening on my watch, I would simply tell them that whether that's true or not, I didn't tell the President about it, I didn't tell the Vice President about it, I didn't tell Steve Hadley about it, and I never talked to Steve Hadley's deputy about it either. So what was happening on my watch never reached either the political or the legal threshold in my sense. So I'm sorry, I'm being evasive only because I don't know the facts, all right?
You know some facts about it.
Yeah, but I don't know the details of what Mark and Joby wrote about in this morning's papers. And there was probably a threshold in there. Whether or not it was crossed, I don't know. But what I'm suggesting to you, it was probably the political threshold, this is unusual, rather than this legal threshold, significant anticipated intelligence activity. Thank you.
Yeah, Kevin Whitelaw with NPR. Wanted to talk just about that difference between the idea of bringing in contractors for specific skill sets for specific periods of time versus what appears to have happened a lot after 9/11, which was bringing them in for ongoing long-term operations, running them often in place of government employees or because it was easier to do it or that. I think, if I understand correctly from what you're saying, that is what you as CIA Director tried to work at maybe rationalizing and fixing. So to the degree you can, can you characterize how successful you were at that? And then I guess the second part of the question is probably to Secretary Chertoff, but to you as well. Is the CIA maybe ahead of other agencies? Do other agencies still have a lot of catch-up to do? What's the variation within the full community?
Yeah. What we did, and I'm going to try to be very quick about this, Kevin, so I don't drag you into my old inbox, was when we did this, I said arbitrarily 10 and 10 plus 5, but we also had some science attached to it too. We actually did a soup to nuts across the board look at all the things done in the agency and divided them into 3 baskets: core support, and support. All right, and you can kind of imagine, in broad terms what each of those might include. When it came to core, the percentage core jobs, the percentage of those jobs being done by government employees was in the mid to high 90s. Okay. Core support, though, actually had and I don't remember the number, and I'm trying to be evasive, I just don't remember, actually had, to my eye at the time, a disturbingly high number of contractors in core support.
What is core support?
Again, it's hard for me, Joe, to go into the specifics about it, okay? But if you take core functions actually being actual collection, actual analysis, and then core support would be functions, maybe collection management as opposed to actual collection, okay? And then you get support, which is like running a small town, okay? And all the things yeah. Kevin, a surprisingly high number of contractors in that middle one, and then a surprisingly high number of government employees in the last one. As I said before, our fire department was government employees. Okay? So what we began to do was to begin a migration. Okay? The number in core seemed to be pretty good, and you always want that little function at the top to give you flexibility, pull people in for specific functions. To try to migrate people to try to migrate our reliance in contractors out of core support and into raw support functions. That was the broad trend line that we did. It was rationalizing the workforce. This is going to seem like we're taking undeserved credit or self-congratulations here, but the model we used was then adapted by the DNI and applied more broadly across the intelligence community. And for those of you who are concerned about contractors, and I already told you my belief that I think the concern might be a little overemphasized, CIA's numbers are actually better than the communities at large.